Okay, are we coming off live? So tell me, guys, how's the stream coming out? Tell me if there's any lag or something. Seems to be a little bit laggy, or is it just me? Yeah, it's probably just me. Maybe there's 1 second or two. Anyways, so I've got the webcam since it's daytime. I'm not sure if you're hearing my fridge here, which makes a lot of noise. Okay. I'm trying some different settings here in OBS, and hopefully they make up a better experience for you guys. So anyways, I keep saying that. What I want to do today is, of course, answer your questions. Let's see, is the chat coming up on screen? I don't think it's coming up on screen. It's not coming up on this screen, but if I put it here, still not coming up. Yeah, the chat should come up here. Anyways, I can see the chat over here, so good to go. Yeah, so I'm gonna answer your questions, so you can leave any questions here related to cybersecurity, whatever you have in mind. And of course, what I want to do today is to actually go through a real world attack defense lab scenario, which we're actually gonna do some network recon, and this is what I want to do for today. So it's gonna be probably a session that's less than an hour, so 3 minutes in, so we're good to go. Yeah. So we're gonna do some network reconnaissance. Recon, and if you guys like this, we're probably gonna do some more in the future. This is gonna be, like I said, a real world penetration testing scenario where you're actually doing recon on a web application, and like I said, ask your questions in the chat and I'm gonna do my best to answer them. Alright, so let's just not waste time because we have an hour here. And I want to be efficient. I want to be as more efficient as possible with these live streams, so I don't want to waste time just to jump into it. But of course, it's going to take a little bit of time, maybe a couple of streams until I actually get to be more efficient with them. So I'm going to be looking forward to your feedback as well as your contribution with this attack defense scenario. So like I said, we're going to go for network recon web servers. And we're going to do some Apache recon basics. So this is the one that I was looking at today, and I thought it would be a good exercise for penetration testing, and it's an easy scenario. So I'm gonna have to hit the run, and it's gonna take about 25 seconds until the lab is up and running. And if we get stuck at some point, we can also always look into the manual, so it's not like we have to be super strict here. There's a flag that we have to get, so the flag is which bot is specifically banned from accessing a specific directory. But I don't know, this is I think this is a generic thing because there's more to the challenge, to the real world scenario than that particular flag. I would say that that flag isn't even important. So we have a couple of questions here. Some of them are a bit redundant, but we actually learned to use different tools in the meantime. So we have to find out the web server running on the target server, as well as the version using nmap. We also have to find the same thing using Metasploit. What else? What web app is hosted on a server using curl? Then using wget, brow.sh. So I didn't know about this brow.sh command line interface until today when I looked into the scenario. I also didn't know about links. We'll have to do a little bit of brute forcing here, and also use dirtbuster, and of course answer the question which gets the flag. So this in less than an hour, and of course answering your questions as well. Bro, web development is very important for web penetration testing. So I would say it's not very important, but it's extremely useful. So if you actually know web development, then you're gonna do much better in web penetration testing than someone who doesn't. So keep that in mind. Okay, so back to our thing here. We have a little network diagram which is, I don't know, a little bit useful. But of course in this scenario, which is kind of simplistic, I wouldn't say that it makes much of a difference, unless, if you would have like multiple targets or a larger infrastructure, this would be useful in terms of attack defense here. So this is us, we have the switch, and we have the target. So the lab is up and running. Let's jump straight into it. And okay, so this is it. And in the previous live stream, I guess it was Hi Maestro, or let me call you Master. What do you say? In a previous video, some of you guys, in a previous live stream, some of you guys said that it's not as easy to view this, to view the console, and you would like me to zoom in into things. So let me see. Is this better? Let's say ls minus a. Does this look better? Let me know, guys. Cool, great. So let's jump into the first question. We have to find out the web server software running on the target, and also find out the version using nmap. Okay. But first, instructions. Your Kali has an interface 192xyz to know the values. It suggests us to run IP ADDR. Of course, we can run that, but we could also run ifconfig, and we can determine that our IP address is 192.97.50.n15 and 2. So it has a 2. And the target machine should be located at .3. So our target machine is, let's actually do a quick nmap, 192.97.15.3 as per the instructions. So the first question tells us to determine the server software using nmap. Probably the simplest command that I would go with is -sv. Hit enter, and this should be like done relatively fast. So it says that it's running Apache 2.418. So this is the answer to the first question. Of course, there's also, as per the solution, if we look into the solutions manual, they suggest us to use the ---- script equals banner, I believe, for 97 15.3, and I guess we have to specify the port as well. I'm not really sure. Let's see. I don't think the -SB was necessary here. What do you mean, gorilla? So it says HTTP server header Apache 2.4.18, exactly as said by the previous command. So I guess that answers our first question. Then the second question says exactly the same thing up until here, suitable Metasploit module. So let's fire up Metasploit MSF console. And that was really fast. Let's see. So what would you guys suggest as a Metasploit module for determining the server version, or at least for grabbing a banner? Let's do a search for banner. Let's look into this folder here. So let's do use auxiliary scanner HTTP, and then let's see how many. Let's actually say no HTTP header. Let's try using this HTTP header. All right, let's look into the options. Set our host to 192. What was it again? ifconfig ETH0. It wasn't ETH0. It was ETH1. We could do the same thing. So ETH1 192.97.15.2 our IP, and the target is 192.97.15.3. What else do we have to specify? I think that's probably it. So exploit. Okay, so I messed it up. Set our hosts to 192.97, not 197.15.3. Exploit one more time. Should be good to go, I guess. Yeah, that's right. You caught me. You caught me, Vishnu. Are you a troll? Because if you are, we'll simply have to remove you from here. So, yes, this is it. We actually get the same thing. So using the HTTP header payload exploit from Metasploit. So we have server Apache. It detected 3 headers. So anyway, that answers the second question. The next one, check what web app is hosted on the server using curl. So let's get out of Metasploit, clear this, and we'll use curl -v. I usually use the -v, 97.15.3. Okay. I think the switch thing makes sense even implement with an hack. I'm not really sure what you're saying here. But anyways, let's move forward. So, what web app is hosted on a web server using curl? I mean, this is kind of simple. So we have the entire output here with curl -v, and we get the response Apache 2.4.18, and we have Apache to Ubuntu default page. It works. So I think this is our answer. We have Apache Ubuntu default web page. We need to get the same thing using the wget. So in this case we could try wget 192.97.15.3. Let's see. Index.html. Let's actually cat index.html and not necessarily cat, let's just do head the first 20 from index.html. So head, it actually reads the file, -n specifies how many lines, so it reads the file from the top of from the very top. We'll get only the 20 lines, and the answer, as previously, is Apache Ubuntu default web page. If you want to read from the bottom of the file, you could do tail. If you don't specify anything with -n, I believe it tells you the last 5. So tail index.html, or maybe the first 10. Let's specify -n10. Yeah, so if you don't specify the n argument, it gives you the last 10 from the bottom of the file. Okay, so we've used the wget, we've used the curl. Now we'll be using browse, which, like I said previously, I haven't heard about this one up until today when I looked into this Apache Recon Basics challenge. So let's see, let's actually see more about it. How much cybersecurity certificate do you have? I only have, I have the OSCP, so yeah, maybe I'll go for other certifications in the future, but for now I'm good. I just got my OSCP a couple of months ago, and yeah, it's actually, I don't know if you guys can see it there. Yeah, but I've also I've done like many courses online in cybersecurity. I'm not sure if they worth even like 5% of what the OSCP was. So I definitely recommend taking it, even though quite a few people say that it might be a bit outdated. It could be a bit outdated, but it actually gets you really into the field of cybersecurity. And of course, once you have the OSCP, you can proceed to other certifications, like from those like from eLearn Security, which are kind of around the same price. So yeah. Okay, Gorilla, thanks for that clarification. Yeah, so head and tail. Yes, Pablo, head and tail apply in text files, of course. How many gigs of RAM? Well, if we look into my virtual box here, and I have Parrot OS, I'm running Parrot OS, I'm experimenting with Parrot OS. If we look into the settings here, I have like 5 gigs of RAM allocated to it, and it runs pretty decently. I've also run Kelly with I believe it was like 3 gigs of RAM, and it was decent. Okay. So guys, I'm gonna get back to your questions after I go through these. After we finish with the questions from this challenge. So we are currently 22 minutes in. So I want to finish in probably less than an hour. Let's look into browse or brow sh. Let's see what browse is. Minus help. So we basically have to get the same thing we did with wget and curl. And brow sh, it has a couple of parameters, and the one that we are interested in is startup URL. So brow sh minus startup URL, and then we'll specify HTTP 192.97.15.3. I'm not sure if you have to specify the index.html, but we'll go without it. So this is interesting. And it's all in the console here. Okay. So we have Apache Ubuntu default page. Control C. Doesn't want to get out with Control C, Control X. How do I terminate this? Quit, Enter, Control C, Control Z, Control X. That's interesting. So let's see. Terminate brow sh. Or brow sh manual. Let's see. Do we have interactivity with the mouse? We don't. What's this? I mean, it does the scrolling. Control R and Control T. Let's see if these work. Control R, Control T. Control T takes is being taken by Chrome here. To close the currently active tab, Control W. So let's see if this works. Nope, doesn't work. Okay. Control Q, of course I've pressed Control Q. Or I haven't. So anyways, you live and learn. Yeah, it was Control Q. Okay, so let's move on. That's browse in a nutshell. We have to answer the same question using links. Let's see what links is all about. There's a lot of stuff in here. Let's links browser CLI web page. How do they use it? It says e-links, and the last one, we don't have the links here. Links maybe resources, user guide. Is it just as simple as links HTTP 192.97.15.3? Apparently so. Okay, so we don't need this manual, or maybe we do if I don't find my way out of it like I did with browse. So we get the Apache Ubuntu default web page. It's not as nice as browse, but we still get the information here. And of course we have some helper commands here. Unlike browse, we can use Q for quit, enter, I believe this is enter, or backspace. Backspace to go back. So let's just quit. Yes. Right. So next one. Perform brute force on web server directories and list the names of directories found. Use brute dir's Metasploit module. To be honest, I never used the brute dir's in Metasploit. I usually use a dirbuster, but more recently, since I started doing bug hunting as well, I started using dir search as my main brute forcing tool for directories. So up until before starting with bug bounty hunting, I would be using a combination of dirb and GoBuster, but like I said, ever since I started doing bug bounties, I started using dir search, which we might get into in a future video. So we have to use brute dirs. Fire up MSF console one more time. let's search for brute DIRs. Control, it doesn't work with Control Shift C like it's like it works in the terminal, in a real terminal. So I'm just gonna copy it, use, I'll just type it, scanner HTTP brute DIRs. Let's see what options it has. We have the path. We need to specify the R host, which is required. We should probably specify more threads than one, so let's do set threads to 50. Set R hosts to 192.97.15.3. Does it have a like dictionary? How does this thing work? Does it have a help? I don't think it works like that. So let's see, brute DIRs metasploit. Do we need to specify a dictionary? Show actions. Show actions. Weird. Has any one of you guys worked with brute DIRs so far? How much have you been gotten bounty? Of course, I've just started bug bounties and I still haven't found, like, I found quite a few bugs, but I didn't get a bounty so far. So I don't know. I'm still dry with that. Looking forward to it. It's a long game. Hopefully I'll get my bounty soon, my first bounty soon, but so far nothing. And that should be encouraging, not only for me, but also for you guys. Okay, so let's just try and see if we can run it without anything else specified. Let's do run. So no bug bounties so far. But, and the big but here is that since I started like 2 or 3 months ago, I've actually learned a hell lot about web applications for the programs that I participated in, and I've been invited to a lot of private programs on HackerOne. So yeah, I guess it's a long game, and I don't mind that. I don't mind if I don't find any bug in the next couple 2 or 3 months, because it's a learning process for me. So I feel like I've learned tremendously ever since I started doing bug bounties. I really do feel that I've learned a lot, especially in reconnaissance, which is one of the most important aspects that I focus so far. So I've been doing a lot of reconnaissance in bug bounties, and also I've been doing a lot of secure code review on JS files. And yeah, you know what? One of the things that I see a lot is credentials and secret keys in JS files. Yeah, developers do make mistakes, and we as bug hunters should be able to locate those mistakes and help them fix them faster than those mistakes could be exploited by unwanted parties. Okay, so going back here, it says that they found two paths, dir and src. So I guess this answers question number 7. Next, use the directory buster or dirb with this dictionary to check if any directory is present in the root folder of the web server. List the names of found directories. This should be really easy. So let's exit Metasploit, clear, dirb, HTTP. You don't have to specify anything, any parameter to actually be able to specify the path. 192.97.15.3, and then you specify the word list without any other parameter if they didn't change anything since I last used it. So it's tool user share Metasploit framework, tools user, or not. Let me just copy this. Tool, there's nothing in there. Let's see where we're at. It's tools ls-a. Let's do a locate dictionary.txt. Directory.txt. Locate directory.txt. Doesn't find it. User share Metasploit. What's wrong here? Let's go back here. cd home, nothing. cd root. Is it here in MSF4? Let's see. It's probably in word lists. cd word lists. It's not. cd tools. cd portable. Nope. cd scripts. Nothing in there. Okay, so no good instructions here. We should probably try the word list from here. The 100 common passwords. Not really. So guys, do you have suggestions for this? Where is the this thing? It's probably here. So they've kind of mistakenly added the tool /. Let's go to cd user share, of course. Metasploit framework. Yeah, so it's probably here. Where was it? Data word lists directory. cd data word lists, and it's probably here. Yep, there you go. Okay, So going back to derb HTTP 192.97.15.3, and then we specify the word list. Since we're in the same directory, we can just specify its name. And what else? This is the most basic use of derb. I don't think we need to specify anything else. So yeah, let's run this. And lo and behold, it finished. So we have data and dir. That's probably the answer to this question number 7. And then finally, so how many minutes are we in? 41 minutes. That's awesome. Yeah, of course. Salutare forsaken. That was actually hello to you. In Romanian, of course, in my beautiful Romanian language. So the final question, which bot is specifically banned from accessing a specific directory? I'm gonna leave this one to you guys. Do you have suggestions on how we would go about it? The easiest way to find the bot that's banned from accessing a specific directory. So let me hear it. That's right, Adam. It's robots.txt. So that's the answer. Well thought. So we simply curl 192.97.15.3 / robots.txt. Maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't exist. So it's being disallowed. No bad bot dir. User agent bad bot. I believe this is our answer, and I think this is also our flag. So if we go to verify flags and paste that over here, it's bad bot verified. That was a very or relatively easy recon on an Apache server. In future videos, we'll probably learn how to, in future live streams, what I would like to do is to, since this is really important, I've learned that in bug bounties, in doing bug bounties recently, I've learned that I have to do a lot of scripts. I mean, I've coded a couple of tools. I've coded a couple of tools for myself that actually help me automate the process of recon. And I've been working with a lot of bash commands such as curl cat cut sed. So curl cat cut sed. What else? Grep, of course. To actually cut portions, to actually filter stuff, especially from word lists. And I'll probably think of some sort of an exercise, some sort of a real world scenario or exercise where I would be using this kind of stuff. Or maybe we could, I don't know, do a live recon on a public program. So that would be like live bug bounty hunting, but I would have to make sure that I don't go too much in depth, because I don't know, I don't want to risk finding something live and then that wouldn't be too good. What do you guys think? So last call. We're 45 minutes in, and I'm probably gonna cut it earlier. If you guys don't have any other questions, we'll just probably stop here. But let me see. Maybe I didn't answer all your questions. So water who? If want to focus on web application only with no security background, what would you recommend? If you want to focus on web applications only with no security background. Are you still here, Waterwho? Can you like further elaborate on that? So from my understanding, you're asking if you want to get into web application penetration testing with no security background, what would you recommend? Well, first off, the number one resource that I would recommend you or that I would suggest is the Web Application Hacker's Handbook, which is linked in the description of this video. Yeah, this one. So I would start with this one. If you know nothing about it, or this is pure and specific, this is probably the most precise answer that I would have for your question. Start with this book. It's a 900-page book, and it gets, even though it's been published in 2011, it's still really relevant because it puts you on track with what entails in terms of testing a web application for security. I will start with this one. But if you want to, I don't know, get into cybersecurity, like from a broader perspective, I would simply take a course in cybersecurity, and I don't know if I have anything on hand here. Of course I do. I mean, there's the Cybery. It's probably something from Cybery. There should be a free course. Beginner. Let's see more. So beginner. We're looking for a course. What were you asking about? Web applications with no security background. So I would want to get a little bit of security background. So it would be an introductory course. So introduction to cybersecurity. Let's see if there is something. Can I not do it without? Okay, so I'll probably have to log in. Anyways, let's log in. I have a Yahoo email for Cybery, so definitely not recommending Yahoo right now. So sign in. And let's actually look for what I was looking for. Introduction. Introduction to cybersecurity, IT and cybersecurity. Let's see what it's this about. It's a 4-hour course. Let's look into. So we have network engineering, systems administration. So this is general stuff. As you can see, 2 minutes, 8 minutes, so not too deep. Network engineering, incident response. This is more like blue team stuff. It's not too in depth, so you could probably go through it in like a Saturday afternoon. And then once you finish with this, you'll probably want to get into a more advanced course. Hopefully that answers your question. Is it Discord broken still? What do you mean, Gorilla? Discord is working. It's here. It's not broken. It's just that you have to go through. There's a bot that you have to kind of. Yeah, so let me rephrase that. You have to go through a verification step to actually get into the Discord server. It's sort of like a security thing. It's similar to Google reCAPTCHA or something like that. Because if you click on the link here to get into the Discord server, it's gonna put you on an isolated channel here where you wouldn't be able to see these other channels like general and stuff like that. So you'll be put into an isolated channel, and you'll have to answer a CAPTCHA, and once you answer that CAPTCHA and you're verified as not being a robot, then you'll be able to see all the channels that are available on Discord. So hopefully that answers your question. Oh, so there's a problem in your country. Okay, where are you from, Gorilla? How many minutes are we in? 52. So, what should a newbie do before applying for OSCP certification? Well, Pablo, you could start with this course that I just mentioned. And I think I had a video. I don't like repeating myself. I think there was a video on my channel where I discussed about my top resources for beginning in cybersecurity. So let's see. It's not this one. You could look into this video, top 3 free beginner courses for cybersecurity and penetration testing. You could also look into this video, how to get a job in cybersecurity, my story as a self-taught pen tester, and also this one, how to get into cybersecurity. I think I talk a lot about resources in those videos. And you could go through those resources, and I think I divide the resources into probably 2 or 3 main categories, which are courses, so video courses, then you have books, okay, and then there's actually platforms to practice your cybersecurity skills, which I'm like super keen on because I'm really interested in I mean, I keep saying that being practical and being hands-on is one of the most important aspects in my view to actually learn something. So look into those resources, get a good hold of networking, go through an introductory course, start practicing with a few machines on Vulnhub and Hack the Box to actually get through the process of exploiting a machine, and then you could simply apply for you could simply pay for the OSCP course, and then you have everything in there. You don't need anything else. Or if you're rushing, you could just pay for the OSCP course, and like I said, you have all the information you need there. Of course, it will help you if you have a little bit of a background, but I wouldn't say it's 100% necessary. Hopefully that answers your question, Pablo. How many days or hours should the recon process take? Well, I do a lot of recon, so for me, since I enjoy doing recon, I actually enjoy a lot looking for stuff. It can take days. It can take days. And after the recon, I would go for, I usually go for, if there's a web app or something, I usually go for trying to look, to try to break that app by providing unexpected input. And it's really important if it's a web app to try to actually verify or get through all the places where you can intervene or interfere or provide input, and look for the top 10 or top 20 OWASP, if you know what I mean. So how many days? It's a relative answer. An average for me would be probably 3 or 4 days on Recon alone, but there have been web apps or there have been programs where I did Recon only for a couple of hours. It also depends on the scope and on how big that program is. Lucian, is OSCP enough for getting a job in cybersecurity? It can be, but you can get a job in cybersecurity without the OSCP. So I got my job in. Do you still guys hear me? Let me know in the chat. So Lucian, as I said, is OSCP enough for getting a job in cybersecurity? It can be. I got my first job in cybersecurity with no certification. So I would say that you don't need a certification to get a job in cybersecurity. In a recent Cyber Talk podcast that I did with Hackersploit, we discussed this at length. So you should check that out. And we're actually doing like quite frequent episodes. So make sure to subscribe to any of our channels, and I think the podcast is gonna also be so it's gonna be uploaded to YouTube, but it's also gonna be uploaded to Apple, as far as Alexis told me. So getting back to Lucian's question, I think you don't need any certification. It's more important what you know than what kind of certification you have. But there might be companies that require some sort of certification. Not necessarily to actually assess your knowledge, but for paperwork, bureaucracy, if I can put it that way. So again, OSCP is good, or any other certification to get a job, but I would say it is not necessary. You can have the OSCP and know very little about penetration testing, or you cannot. You can have no certification and actually have much more knowledge and skill in penetration testing than someone would have with a lot of certifications on their hands. Okay, how to start to code some malicious programs? I don't know. There's probably an answer to that question, but I'm not interested in that. I am Baymax. And with that, guys, I'm gonna have to end this live stream. Thanks for sticking here. We are on point, 59 minutes. So you can leave questions. You can keep on leaving questions in the comments of this video, which is gonna be live on YouTube. And I'll probably look into them in future live streams. And also leave your suggestions for what you would like me to go through in future live streams. We'll also probably have to go through Python, because I'm really keen on actually having you guys learn some Python for penetration testing. Of course, you can also take my course, which is applied here with the discount code applied, but aside of the Python thing, we'll also go probably through more attack defense challenges. We'll also go through some bash, like I said, and also so basic bash usage, and also through maybe live bug bounty hunting, who knows. So anyways, have a great Sunday, everyone.